Welcome to the 6 Miles to Supper podcast. I'm your host, Kayla Cox, and I've lost over 80 pounds with intermittent fasting 6 days a week, eating whatever I wanted at my meals, taking a cheat day every Sunday, and walking 6 miles a day. And I'm here to help you on your weight loss journey. In today's episode, we're going to talk about intermittent fasting and exercise. And I wanted to talk about this because it's something that I think a lot of people wonder about. They wonder, how much exercise should I be doing if I'm also, intermittent fasting? Should I be in a fasted state when I'm working out? What kind of exercise is good to do? And it can be so overwhelming that sometimes it can kind of get you stuck in inaction because you want to do it right and you're just not sure. And right now, if the exercise piece of the puzzle is the thing that's just holding you back, maybe you hate exercise, maybe you're just not sure which one to do, I would say don't even worry about exercise, at least not for the moment. Instead, if you're doing this for weight loss, just focus on consistency with intermittent fasting. That side of the equation is really going to be the thing that pulls the weight off your body. The movement side is a little bit trickier. It actually adds some variables in, and plenty of people lose weight without any exercise at all. And while we're at it, I would say if right now you're not exercising, but you think, hey, I could lose weight a lot faster if I would just do some really intense exercise to go along with this, I would caution you and just say that's not necessarily the way it's going to play out. I understand from the scientific standpoint, you're like, well, burning more calories, that's going to, take more calories off my body and I'm going to lose weight. And while that is true, burning calories is what helps you lose weight. You have to remember that your appetite might spike up, and that can make intermittent fasting a little bit more difficult, and it can also make it difficult to just eat the right amount of food. So if it's not going to speed up your weight loss, then why on earth would you bother with exercising, right? And I gotta say, it's great though to exercise for the mental health benefits, your overall energy levels, just your general well-being. I have gone through periods of being really sedentary in my life, and I've gone through periods of being really active in my life. And, in hindsight, those periods of times where I was really sedentary, not moving very much, those were the low points, really. Those were the times when I felt really down. I was, lowest self-esteem. But the times when I've been the most active or consistently just active, I'm not saying like going out and doing ridiculous amounts of physical activity, just consistently, getting outside and going for a walk, things like that. That's when my energy levels have been the best. That's when I've felt the most positive about life. So should you work out in a fasted state, or should you, work out right after your meal, or what should you do? And I would say do what feels best for you. I know a lot of people get really hung up on the timing of it, and really it comes down to your schedule and your own body. Some people really love working out in the fasted state. They love it. I have definitely done that whole thing, just working out consistently in this fasted state, and I enjoyed it. I will say, some people get really high strung about like, oh, I haven't eaten and I don't want to let my blood sugar get too low or something like that. But I don't worry about stuff like that. And of course, you should talk to your doctor if you have concerns or anything. But for example, I walked 43.6 miles in a fasted state with no issues one day. I just, I ate supper the day before, and then I got up and I started walking my 100,000 steps that day, and I didn't, eat at all, and I was fine. So the point is, the human body is just capable of more than we really give it credit for. I think some people get in this mindset like it's so fragile, and it's really not. We're really capable of a lot. If you think back. For a long time ago, human beings, we didn't always have constant access to food, so we were able to do a lot in a fasted state. So I don't think we're quite so fragile as some of us maybe are afraid we are. But you may find that for yourself, you don't feel great if you're in a fasted state and you work out, or maybe you feel kind of nauseous if you don't eat pretty soon after working out. So just plan your workouts accordingly. You might find that you do great and you feel the best and you perform your best if you just go ahead and eat and then do your workout, or maybe flip that, maybe just do your workout and then right afterwards maybe you'll eat. But really it's about trial and error. Just kind of try it out one day, make notes of how you feel physically, how'd your workout go, and then how you're feeling afterwards. But you might be wondering, well, what kind of exercise should I be doing? And I would say do what you love. Anything that you really, really enjoy, just do that. The thing that's really going to bring you the benefits is staying active over a long, long, long period of time. Like for the rest of your life, if you just can figure out something that you can do consistently, that means you'll just be a consistently active person. So if you like dancing, go out there and dance. Or if you like powerlifting, go out there and powerlift. Or if you like walking like I do, go out there and walk consistently. Be really careful of procrastination, because what can happen is you spend all this time and you're trying to like optimize. You're like, okay, what's the hardest workout I can do to try to burn the most calories, and then you can like psych yourself out so much because you're gonna think, well, I need all this special equipment to do this, and I need to really go and get a gym membership, but I gotta research the gym memberships and all this, and you're just gonna get stuck. Instead, you can just figure out what fits in your life right now based on your schedule and based on your budget. Sometimes that can be a thing. You think, well, once we get some more money, then I'll go get a gym membership and then I'll be able to lose weight. Like, no, sorry, that's not true. You can certainly start out right now where you're at in your home. You don't need any special gear at all. You can do body weight exercises. Like if you're wanting to get the powerlifting kind of benefits, start doing push-ups. Start doing push-ups. Start doing sit-ups. Start doing air squats and that kind of thing. And you can work out for free. And then as time goes along and your budget increases, then you can go to the gym. But don't procrastinate. Keep whatever you're doing really simple, really enjoyable. Make it so that you're not having to motivate yourself or try to motivate yourself all the time, because it is really difficult to try to motivate yourself. So if it's something that you just naturally like to do, then go out and do it. And it'll be a lot easier to get yourself consistent on that. I've been doing intermittent fasting since very, very late 2014, right? And so I've gone through a lot of iterations on my own exercise. I kind of started out with powerlifting and CrossFit. And I never joined a CrossFit gym. I just would get the workout of the day and try to do it to the best of my ability. And I was going to a gym starting in 2015, and I really loved powerlifting. And during that time, I'm working on trying to figure out how this intermittent fasting thing works. And that year, 2015, was just not a consistent year for me. I ended up hurting my back in July of that year. So it kind of threw my exercise completely off, because up until that point, I was totally convinced, like, if you want to lose weight, it's got to be high intensity interval training, or it's got to be like heavy weights, and you got to be doing that, and you got to get your eating just right, and that's what'll pull the pounds off. And really, I was getting really frustrated up until that point, because I was losing weight, but I wasn't losing weight at a rate that I thought was fast enough, which, now I realize like a pound a week is fantastic progress. Like you should not slight yourself if that's the rate you're losing at. But that's just where I was mentally at that point. But what I started to see for myself was, I really hate cardio. I mean, I even wrote that down in my notes of 2015. At the end of the year, I looked back and I said, what have I learned? I have learned I hate cardio. But what I did find that year was that I really liked walking. I was kind of desperate at that point because my back was injured, I guess I had a pulled muscle or something. And I couldn't go back to heavy lifting. So instead, the only thing that I could feel like confident that I could do was just walking 6 miles a day. And I found that challenging. And I really was convinced that wouldn't be enough exercise, but I kind of like had no other option. But what I found was it required effort, and it required me to manage my time well, but I could do it. And of course, I discovered I love walking because you don't need any special gear. I mean, I have my Fitbit, but I could have not had a Fitbit, although I did find that did help motivate me. But I found it was great because I can sneak the steps in throughout the day. I didn't have to do it all in one big thing. I didn't have to drive anywhere and do this. I could just do it in my own home. I walk inside my house a lot of times, and it had very little resistance. Like there are some exercises or some workouts where it takes a lot of like mental, like, okay, I gotta get in the right mental space for this and get myself psyched up, and then I can go and do it. But walking, it's like I can always kind of convince myself, okay, get up and walk around for a couple minutes at least. least and get some more steps in. So because that bar was really low for me, it was something that where I could really get into a strong habit. So at this point, it's been like almost 5 years where I've consistently been walking as my form of exercise, and I've stayed consistently active. And that is just, a really interesting thing because throughout my life, I could just never be consistent with anything. But I really do believe that it's because I found something that was just really easy to do consistently. And I found for me, it's just almost impossible to be in a bad mood after walking 6 miles. So it keeps me in a consistently good mood. It keeps me consistently positive. To say that I never have a bad day. I don't want you to get that impression, but just in general, I feel good because I'm active. And especially in the early days, it really helped me to avoid stress eating because I'd be sitting there, maybe it was early afternoon. I was just feeling kind of tired, thinking, maybe I should just eat, I'm feeling kind of hungry. But I would say to myself, well, but you haven't gotten your steps in yet. And the thing was, especially in the beginning, it was really a challenge for me to get my steps in earlier in the day. Many times I was like, it was right before the stroke of midnight that I was getting my 14,000th step. So instead, I'd say, hey, you don't want to be, you don't want to have to stay up late tonight getting your steps in. So go out there and get some steps. And of course, the positive thing that happened there was because I wasn't stress eating, I would take that opportunity to really think about what was going on with me. And I learned a lot about myself because I started to see these patterns of, the reason I was, feeling like I was hungry was because, I was just stressed about something. And for those of you out there who think, oh man, but walking, you're just, you're not really working out hard enough. But I'll say this. I have been shocked at how much stamina I have in sprints and things like that. Not that I do it very often, but just, occasionally when I'll be outside with my kids, they might challenge me to a race or just for one reason or another, you find yourself in that kind of situation. And I'm not doing anything. I still just stick to walking. Okay. I don't even to this day, my main mode of staying active is simply walking. I don't consistently run. I experimented a little bit last year with trying to run 6 miles, and I just didn't really like that. But even though I have only just been walking 6 miles, 6 days a week, I can run flat out for a long ways without even feeling winded. So it's really amazing what just consistent exercise, even if it's not at a fast pace, even if you're just consistently being active, it's amazing what that can do for your body. And I found for me personally that when I was trying to do the really heavy lifting and the really hard cardio, my appetite increased, to match what I was doing basically. So it ended up with a net result of I was working out a lot harder, but not seeing an increase in the scale. So that increased the difficulty level unnecessarily, and it was really, really frustrating. But instead, when I went to just walking and I was still having good, consistent results with weight loss, it was a lot more encouraging. So if you are currently not exercising, or maybe you've just been kind of procrastinating on all this thing, I hope that this episode has helped you. And if you decide that you'd like to become active and maybe you're just not sure, I would just encourage you, get out there and take a little walk every day. Just start there and, just see how that goes. And once you are consistent with that, see if you want to do anything else. So thank you for listening to this episode, and I'll see you in the next one. Hey guys, I've got great news. The Donor Seed project for the 2 pediatric CPAP machines for Elwa Hospital in Liberia has been funded. Thank you guys so much to all of you who have donated or shared about that project. And I'm going to read you an update from Nurse Margot Biggs. She said, "Yay, I'm so excited that this project has been funded. Together, we have done something amazing. I know it sounds like a cliche, but by giving to this project, you are literally saving the lives of babies. We have ordered 2 CPAP machines, and they are on their way. I'm incredibly grateful. From Dr. Mikey and myself, thank you from the bottom of our hearts." So thank you guys for being a part of changing the world. You're sick and tired of being overweight. You're working hard to lose, and the scale refuses to budge. You're done with dieting. You just want to eat like everybody else. When you hire me as your intermittent fasting coach, we'll tackle the issues that are standing between you and the life you want. If you're unsure about whether one-on-one coaching is right for you, click on the link in the show notes and schedule your free 30-minute consultation. I look forward to working with you.